Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, the Paris of the Prairies. We are at the HearingLife Canadian Open, and there is no place like home. At the alma mater, the University of Saskatchewan, where I got my first degree, back home and ice level inside Merlis Belcher Arena. Hi again, curling fans. Devin Heroux welcoming you inside this beautiful facility alongside Chelsea Carey and Johnny Moe. Wonderful to see you guys as we settle in for the fourth Grand Slam of the season. A lot going on the ice, you guys, but a lot happening off the ice today on what has been a consequential day in the curling world. The Pro Curling League has hit us hard with the roster launch here today. What better people to have than the architect behind the roster, Johnny Moe and JJ, a part of that, and Chelsea's here to help us dissect it. So we're going to get into that in a second, but tonight's feature game is a big one. So let's look at the head-to-head matchup, and I'll get some thoughts from you two on that as well as we take a look at this. King Nicodine versus Danny Casper. And can you believe it, Chelsea? This is now an Olympic matchup preview as we look at some of these numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was just at the Olympic qualifying event where Danny Casper and the Americans qualified themselves. They played so well. Danny himself was a one-man shooting range. He was absolutely unbelievable. So they're coming in with a lot of momentum and a lot of confidence. But it's always going to be a tough game against Nicholas Edin. Yeah,
Johnny, over to you for some quick thoughts on Nick Edin. You have battled him before. 7-7 in the slams this season. We're not used to that, but he won the Europeans, and he loves the big events.
Yeah, and he's gearing up for the biggest event of them all, the Olympics, in a couple of months. So this is one of the last big events to prepare for that. And as you said, had a great Europeans. And, Nick's the kind of guy that you can see the younger guys starting to creep up, and he's going to want to make sure he, doesn't relinquish that king crown just yet.
No kidding. It's so good. And Danny, 24 years old, thrust into the spotlight. There they are, getting ready, ice level here. We're going to delay the start of things because we have a massive announcement to honor our good friend Colleen Jones. It would have been her 66th birthday on this day. And so we'll have an announcement about that shortly. I did tease the fact that this is a consequential day in the curling world. Rock League rosters announced today. So Johnny, we're going to put them up on our screen right here and take a look at the first three franchises and their rosters right now. As we take a look at those rosters, we're going to bring them up, I promise, for you right there. There they are. So here's Alpine, Frontier, and Maple. Johnny, maybe some overarching thoughts as we take a look at those names. These rosters are loaded.
Yeah, we've got some powerful rosters here, and one of the things we decided to do was create the opportunity for import players to come in and play on the franchises. So most of the franchises will be comprised of players from that region, but there's up to 40% you can have import players. So that really allowed us to balance up the lineups and really create some heavyweight tilts on some of these rosters. So I'm actually want to get some thoughts from Chelsea because I know these rosters inside and out, but I want to see what Chelsea thinks.
So do I. So Chelsea, you take the mic as we continue to look at those rosters and look at the teams settling in here. Look, there's Branguju, not on one of the teams here. Of course, this is his retirement year, but Chelsea, over to you for some thoughts.
Yeah, I think the interesting part for me is not having known anything going in is just how much parity there is amongst the teams, which that import rule, I think, allowed. I was trying to look for favorites and for advantages. Honestly, it's hard to find one. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I would say the interesting one to me is the Shield with Brad Jacobs having what I would suggest are some of the most underrated men's players in these events on his team on the men's side. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
Johnny, a lot is being made of the import rule. Like you said, I think an overwhelming amount of these regions are made up of people from that region. But maybe just take us through some of the thought behind the import, bringing in and really the thought that went into building out these rosters, because a lot of people are talking about it today.
Yeah, well, the import rule is crucial because there's a few regions that if you just took the best players from that region,
sure,
there would be too much discrepancy to the powerful regions like Europe and parts of Canada. So the fact to be able to bring in some imports And at the end of the day, this is a professional curling league.
And you want to have, for the most part, the best curlers in the world on these rosters. So we felt that bringing in some imports allowed us to really bring in our best players and bring in some big talent. And also make the teams probably as fair as you could. What we wanted to do was create such balanced
Franchises that the success is going to come down to which teams work the best together, and the chemistry. Also, which GMs have the best strategy and can strategize. Okay, who should go where? Who's going to be on my mixed team, on my mixed double team?
Sure.
And we felt like if we can create that atmosphere and environment, we're going to have a heck of a league.
Well, I'll tell you what, when I was making my way late last night back to the hotel, I saw GM Carter Rycroft already gathering some of his team members, already strategizing. So, Chelsea, why don't we put you in a position where if you were a GM and you were overlooking one of these teams, what would be some of the things that you would want to drill into your team early on? Because one of the things I think curling fans are loving right now is, and what I've been seeing in my comments today is, wow, I can't believe these players are with these, and it's going to be so interesting to see chemistry. How big is that going to be? Because I think it could play a key role in that.
Oh, I think it's going to play a huge role.
Right.
That's key to the success of this league. And so for every team, for every GM, you're going to have to bring your team together in a way that they've maybe never been brought together before. It's new players, it's new positions, it's new teammates. They don't know these other players, and so it's going to be very much like what we saw at the Continental Cups back years ago, where you've got to figure out these people that have been your rivals for so long. Now they're your teammate. So you might know what they tend to do with their intern, but do you know what they need to hear when they miss? Do you know what they want to hear for a sweep call? Do you know what they want to hear in the hack? Those conversations are going to be super important, and the GMs are going to have to lead those.
Johnny, it is such a big day. It feels celebration, relief, everything to be able to say to the world, these are the makeups of the team. Of course, we know that on Thursday we're going to be announcing the formats as well as the location for all of this. But just on a personal level, you've been behind this, trying to professionalize this sport, and it feels like the day has arrived where this feels like real life, like a really tangible thing.
Yeah, it's been over a year in the making, and I got to say it's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. You know, so now I'm on a different side of the game. You know, I used to curl for too many years. I think from the time I was 5 years old till I was 45, so it's a lot of time.
Wow.
But it's sure nice learning this side of the game. And you know, when I was curling, I always had to kind of keep that edge, and it was hard to. I wanted to be friends with a lot of other curlers, but you know, you're kind of in your own little bubble with the team. And it's sure been nice to really get to know the curlers. Because one thing with this league is it's not just about your own ice talent. You know, we wanted to choose great teammates. We wanted to choose curlers that don't mind engaging. We want to bring curling to the world and grow this game in places where there's a thirst for it, especially after the Olympics. We want curlers that want to be part of that. That had an impact on some of the decisions.
I got to tell you, in all the socials that I have seen today, the buy-in is there. It's been so fun to dive into some of how people are power ranking them and digging into the rosters. And of course, you can start to get limited edition apparel at the Rock shop as well. So everybody's going to be able to wear the apparel. I know I'm not going to reveal it right now what I want to be wearing. I'll probably reveal that later this week, but it's going to be so good. Some last thoughts, because I really respect both of your opinions on this slam. Obviously, you want to win a slam, but with the Olympics nearing, just what we can see this week, I'm so amped about this slam in particular, because the Olympics are getting closer. Everybody's here. It really feels like we're close, Johnny.
As you said, we're starting to see some Olympic previews.
Yeah.
This is the first slam of the year. Having Danny Casper in it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Hmm.
The fact that he just won the OQE.
Right.
And he's about to, you know, and he's kind of on top of the world right now. I think it's pretty cool to see some of these pre-Olympic matches. At the same time, where there's another dynamic is we just had the Olympic trials in Canada. And I feel like going through the high and low of an Olympic trial, whether you win it or you know, for 7 of those teams they've lost it, coming here and really having your A game is hard to do.
Oof.
You're only 2 weeks removed from the trials, so it's a real interesting dynamic here, and I think you're going to see, you know, you're going to see some heavyweight battles, but
You're also going to see some teams not quite playing up to their potential.
Yeah, hard to pick yourself up, and perhaps, I don't want to suggest that that's what we saw from Matt Dunstone and company this morning, but maybe a little bit of that, and you've got to sort of dust yourself off because there is a Brier to play for and a chance to represent your country. Chelsea, wonderful to have you along for the broadcast and taking us through all of this week. Some thoughts from you as we settle into all of this.
Yeah, I agree with basically everything John said. I mean, I think you're going to see it's going to be a battle for Team Jacobs and Team Holman, as well as for sort of finalists and things that we saw from those trials. It's even if you won it, you're the relief and the emotional sort of high from that is just really hard to rebound from this fast. They're still going to be looking to do well here, obviously, and we've seen Rachel be so dominant and Brad be, very much in contention all year.
Right.
But it's going to be hard for them, where I think some of the teams that have known that they're going to this Olympics for a lot longer have built their season around peaking in February. So they're going to be getting close to that peak now, maybe not all the way there, but I would look for some of the European teams, some of maybe the Asian teams that have known they have their spot to maybe be closer to their best. But I'd also look for some momentum from a team like Danny Casper.
Watch out. I love it. What a tee up. You two are beauties. Love it. What a day here at the Grand Slam of Curling. The Rock League rosters are out. We're ice level. We're getting set for the big time showdown here tonight to kick off evening coverage here at the Grand Slam of Curling, the feature matchup on the ice. Warm-ups underway. There it is. Team Adine, Team Casper, as the fans start to make their way inside Merlis Belcher Arena and the teams settle in to get that valuable practice. We're going to take a break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to honor our dear friend gone far too soon, Colleen Jones. Will be back right after this. We are at Merlis Belcher Place. Here a storm is coming. Right now, the curling storm brewing inside this arena. Listen, before the break, I talked about the fact that we lost our dear friend, Colleen Jones, a giant in the sport, a giant in broadcasting, a Canadian treasure. It is her birthday today. She would have been 66 years old today. We are not forgetting Colleen Jones. So much outpouring of just wonderful stories about how Colleen impacted people from coast to coast to coast. So why don't we take a look at this video we put together for Colleen. We'll come back on the other side of the video and talk to her son, Luke, who's here in Saskatoon. Here's that video. Colleen Jones was always in her element when she was in a curling rink. For most of her life, the house was her home, one of the greatest skips ever to play the game. She traveled to Nashville as a part of TCG All-Star festivities this past April. And what many didn't know is that despite the high fives and smiles, Colleen was in the throes of a battle with cancer. But she wasn't going to let it stop her from continuing to live and curl. She was beaming, soaking up the spotlight one last time.
Nova Scotia wins it.
For years, she thrilled curling fans across Canada and around the world. There will never be another Colleen Jones. 6 times a Scotties winner, 2-time world champion, and countless other titles, victories, and awards. She loved this sport, lived for this sport, changed curling forever. It is an immense loss, and she will be missed. But nobody will ever forget the Queen of Hearts, Colleen Jones. The Queen of Hearts, Colleen Jones, on her birthday. Yeah. Lukey, wonderful to see you.
Yeah, great to see you, our best friend. Yeah.
Listen, it's so good to see you, and my condolences.
Yeah, happy to be here in Saskatchewan.
Look
your hometown.
Look at that shirt.
Absolutely, yeah. I christened it for this event and loving it. Loving thinking of Mom today.
Thinking of Mom today, no doubt. We're making a big announcement here tonight. We'll do it in the arena in a second from now. At every Grand Slam, starting here, moving forward, we're going to be raising funds, really important funds, going to cancer research in the name of your mom, Colleen Jones. What does it mean to you, Lukey, and to the whole family?
Well, she wouldn't want it any other way. Like, she wants this sort of journey to keep on going, the light to keep on shining, and I think that the Grand Slam of curling has just done such a good job with engagement and really sort of captivating an audience, and you know, we want to be part of that, and happy to sort of lend a hand in any way I can and be here.
Beautiful stuff. Why don't we put up the graphic so that people can start raising those funds right now? There it is. Scan that QR code. Curl for Cancer for Colleen Jones, in honor of Colleen. We're partnering with the Canadian Cancer Society. They've been great, Lukey. We've got the the yellow pins on, pardon me. And just tell me, how are you doing? How's the family doing? This is a hard day, no doubt. And so over to you.
Yeah.
On all of this.
Yeah, I mean, we have family in New Zealand, to London, England, to Nova Scotia, and you know, we just feel the support across the country in terms of the impact that Mom has sort of brought out there. But I think you just sort of think of the success stories in curling that are there, whether it's sort of the leader-in-chief here, and Nick Salsky and non-Hodgkins, and sort of fighting through that, or Craig Saville with Hodgkins and fighting through that, or Brad Gushu. I just saw him throw a practice rock out here, and his mother, and sort of what they went through together. So, you know, there's just a lot to think about, and there's a lot to be grateful for, and you know, looking forward to the holidays. It's going to be different this year, but you know, this is comforting for sure.
We're so happy to have you here. We really are. And Marley's here, your fiance. She was named to the Rock League today. You're a house of pro curlers now, Lukey. So some thoughts on that. Team Black all here. It's going to be a special night, but just what this is like for you and Marley to be carving your own path in this sport.
Well, you can see the sport's evolving, right? And you can see there's so much interest in it. I had so many people reach out to me today with excitement about where this sport is heading, and I think the Rock League is the perfect start for it. So I'm just thrilled to watch Marley at the Tier 2 up the road in Martinsville, and see this great ice and this great venue, and just see where this sport's going. It's in really good hands.
Hey, last one. We'll put up the Donate Now code again here, but maybe just, we've heard from so many Canadians. I know I have. I know you have. Maybe just on the call to action about what this means, because, you know, call... She was fighting to the end.
She didn't stop fighting. And, if there's anything I can say for tonight, it's just about raising awareness, right? And really understanding that you got to find the preventative measures to sort of push back first on this disease. And I think, it affects so many people that it's not too hard to think of some motivation that's close to you, to reason why to sort of reach out and be involved in this. So please, everyone here is available, whether it's myself or Devin or anyone at the Grand Slam, and we're looking to help.
Lukey, we love you.
Love you too, bud.
And we are,
loves you.
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's gonna make me cry. We're gonna take a break, and we'll be back after this as we honor Colleen Jones here on the pregame show. We are inside Merlis Belcher Arena on the grounds of the University of Saskatchewan. The fourth stop on the Grand Slam of Curling Tour, the HearingLife Canadian Open. And our feature game, right on the sheet here behind me, closest to it, Team Casper, freshly qualified for the Olympics, taking on the vets from Sweden. That is Team Adine. They've been there, they've done it, and they're looking to round into form as they head to another Olympics. Both of these teams going to the Olympics. I was in Kelowna with Team Casper. 24-year-old Danny Casper grew up about 30 miles north of New York City, from the Big Apple to the big stage. All right, let's head up to the commentary booth, a newly added part of the pregame show. From ice level to up to the commentary booth, we're going to join the three who are going to have the call for tonight's game. It's going to be John Cullen, Tara Sloan, and Brent Lang. What a good-looking bunch up in the booth. Waving at you guys from across the ice. Where are you? There you are.
We're right here.
This is fantastic. All right, we got a lot to get to, guys, as we count down to first rocks. I mentioned it a second ago. An Olympic matchup preview now. John, we'll start with you. Just like that, this gets a little more tantalizing, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's not going to be too many more opportunities for these two teams to play each other. There's not too many events left on the calendar before the Olympics. So, yeah, it's definitely a chance to feel each other out. And I think also, Devin, two teams that wouldn't have played each other that many times on tour, as you said. Danny, quite a youngster. So, an opportunity there as well to maybe do a little bit of advanced scouting for sure.
Speaking of scouting, Tara, you have refined your eye in this game, no doubt, and it's wonderful to have you as a part of the commentary team. You're in Saskatoon, the heartland of curling, and I know you've already been on the call. What's it like to be, well, first of all, welcome to my hometown, but just back at the rink around the curlers who you're getting to know as we count down to first rocks in this one?
It's really been a lot of fun, and I said this to John earlier. I said, you know, it's such an incredible gift to be able to learn this game by sitting in with the commentators and asking questions, and hopefully asking questions that the viewers want to know as well. So I think I'm bit by bit beginning to get there, John.
Yes.
I spoke curling a little bit earlier.
She did. Wow. She said a rock was biting the 12-foot. Big moment for Tara earlier.
I cheered for myself. So it's a great atmosphere here. Of course, everybody loves curling. It's great to be back in Saskatchewan. So really, really glad to be here.
Wonderful. Over to you, Brent, for a quick last thought as we head into this one. Johnny Moe and Chelsea both said it'll be interesting to see how teams sort of use this event. What should we glean from this matchup tonight into where they are, you know, Team Edine coming off a European win?
I'd be most interested. I mean, Team Edine has been here before, obviously, been to the Olympics, been there and done that, and they know how to peak at the right time. And for Danny and the fellas, this is kind of new for them. It felt like the work was over when they won the trials, and then they had to win the qualification event, and then it felt like it was over. But it's really just starting now. The dream has started, and here's a good matchup to see where you stand up heading into, you know, the reigning Olympic gold medalist, if I'm not mistaken. And what better way to see where you match up?
There is always more work to do, the job never done. And of course, your job is upcoming as you call this one. Thank you to the three of you. You'll have the call. You can watch it on rockchannel.com. That's going to do it for our pregame show as we settle in for the first evening draw here in the Paris of the Prairies. It's the HearingLife Canadian Open, and First Rocks are coming up next.